Today I'm going to go over Ivanti Application Control, whitelisting without the whitelist. Everyone wants whitelisting, but not everyone wants the administrative overhead that goes along with whitelisting, because you have to maintain your whitelist. Traditionally, whitelisting is handled by taking a snapshot of the hash of the individual executables that are running on the endpoint and then putting that into a list, comparing those hash files against the application as they run. If the hash file matches, the application can run. If the hash file does not match, the application, of course, does not run. The problem with this method is that you have to maintain the hash list. If a change happens to the application, a patch, an update, whatever it may be, that has to be updated not only on the application, but the hash that goes along with it for the updated executables has to happen on your hash list. Not an easy thing to keep up with, right? So unfortunately, whitelisting has not really taken off in a lot of organizations because of that work that needs to be done. Application Control by Ivanti solves that problem with a concept known as trusted ownership. We're going to show you exactly how that works. So let's get to it. Here we have a Windows 7 endpoint. The user logged in does not have administrative privileges locally. As you can see, if we try to install Adobe Acrobat, it'll come up with the UAC prompt. Now, if we say no, it's canceled. However, we're well aware that there are other applications out there that will install despite the fact that the user is not a local admin. As an example, Firefox. Let's go ahead and do the install. It prompts for UAC, but if we click no, it just goes through and does the installation anyway. It's installing the application into the user's profile. This is dangerous, obviously, because if this is a malicious program, if this has some type of malware, ransomware, whatever it might be, it's going to cause a problem for this user. So let's go ahead and close this. Other applications don't even require an install, such as Putty. Just runs. Again, if this executable was malicious, this user would be in trouble. Let's go ahead and uninstall Firefox. And now let's make some changes in application control to see how it can help in this situation. Let's go over to the application control console. Now for this instance, I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually just save a default configuration into the management center. There are quite a few settings that are built right into the basic configuration. And in this case, the basic application control is included. Now we'll go over to the management center here, into our packages section, and we're going to add the test package. Now we see that we're ready to install. We're going to speed the process up here by doing a poll. Looks like it's already being pulled. We should see this turn green in a moment, and then it'll be ready. Okay, let's go back over to the endpoint. Now let's try the installation for Firefox now that we've turned on application control. You'll notice we've received an error. We cannot launch this application anymore. Application control is blocking it. Why is it blocking it? That's a good question. Glad you asked. So every file that is placed on the Windows operating system gets an owner. Let me show you where that owner is listed. We go under the Security tab in Properties, go down to Advanced, and go to the Owner tab. You'll see here that the current owner is Ed Webster. That's me. So here's the problem. Ed Webster is a regular user, a standard user and has no rights, has no local rights on the endpoint, and is not part of the trusted ownership list. Let me show you the trusted ownership list. If we go back over to the console and we look under Global Settings, Trusted Owners, you're going to see a list of the default trusted owners. Now you can add to this list, but usually this list is all you need. The local system, the local administrators group, the local administrator account, and the trusted installer local account. This list determines whether or not an application is allowed to run or not. Let's go back over. Let's take a look at another executable, but one that was installed by the administrator. In this case, we'll just go to the shortcut for Chrome and go to the properties. That'll give us the properties of the executable. We'll go to Security, Advanced, Owner. And as we can see, the current owner is the local administrator. If we try and run Chrome, we see that it runs fine. It's owned by a trusted owner. Putty no longer can run. Why? Because it is owned by Ed Webster. Now, if you were to change the owner, say you have administrative rights, Putty now runs, but only a local admin could do that. So there's really no way around the security if you are not a local admin. Now let's take this a step further. Let's say we want to allow Putty for some folks, but we don't want to allow Putty for others. We can handle that as well. Let's open up our configuration. Now, down here in the Everyone group, I'm going to deny access to Putty. Now, I could do that for a more specific group if I wanted to, or I could do it with a custom condition. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay, let's go back to the endpoint. Uh-oh. Putty.exe can't run. But, wait a minute. It's owned by a trusted owner. That's right. However, we've set up rules to deny access, even though it was installed by a local admin. Okay. Let's go ahead and try one more thing. Just to show that the administrator can install something and it will automatically work, we're going to go ahead and do this with Adobe Acrobat. We're going to go through the Adobe Acrobat installation, and this is being accomplished through the local administrator account. So the owner of the files should be the local administrator and should work. So any application that the administrator installs on the endpoint will run. When the user tries to install things on the endpoint, those things will not run. This is how you're protecting your users against malicious attack, against downloading malware, ransomware, and the lot. And we're finished. Let's go ahead and run Adobe Acrobat Reader, and as you can see, it executes fine. All right, that's it for our little micro training today. Thank you for joining us. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you.